Sophia. Okay. So Sophia commits credit card fraud to pay for her gender reassignment surgery, okay? So under socialism, if all the means of survival are provided, she could save the money that she made as a firefighter to pay for the surgery. I mean, yeah, that's basically that simple. It's like people would be able to take the money that they get from working and spend it on whether it's luxury or whatever it is that's beyond basic survival needs, which would be improving. That's how almost everybody would improve their lives through something like that. And we'd still be able to have people working where we need work done. Now here's another really interesting question, and this is tricky. I don't know. this could definitely meet with disagreement or whatever, but I'm going to try to talk about all the sides that I'm thinking so that people can understand where I'm coming from. Should it be covered by universal health care? Should plastic surgery? Where's the line? So here's one thing. There'll be less of a survival need for plastic surgery since survival needs are provided. Now, what do I mean by survival need for plastic surgery? I'm talking mostly about women here, that women feel like they need to look good to get work, to get jobs. Especially in the industry you guys are in, it's like a large part of it is about how you look, you know, Hollywood, entertainment. Now, if your basic survival needs are provided, you don't have to feel like, well, I gotta look good to get this job because I need the job to support my family, to support myself. It's like, you know, you can, if you want more for yourself, yes, you can still do that. And yes, there will still be pressures to do that kind of stuff, but, you know, it won't be as strong and it won't be a survival thing. So there's that. Now, back to the questions that I asked about universal health care, plastic surgery, and where's the line. I think as a society it makes sense to prioritize based on the resources that you have. So, you know, if we have the resources to deal with things like cancer and heart disease and the things that plague the largest portion of the population, that's where the priority has to be. That's where the spending and the labor. I mean, even more than talking about spending, we're really talking about labor. We're talking about work. We're talking about doctors and scientists and engineers and nurses, like people that are directly involved in actually doing the work to solve those problems and to help people, you know, through those issues and those illnesses. So it's under socialism, I think it's kind of a combination of like, we look at statistics and we look at like, you know, what are the diseases that are affecting the most people and the problems, and that's where we devote the resources first. That's the priority. And at the same time, I think people like doctors and scientists and stuff would have more autonomy to pursue what they want to pursue. So I think naturally that would lead to more people working on the stuff that affects the most people, because people, like if the most people in society are affected by cancer and heart disease, then you take a random person who wants to be a scientist or a doctor, and they're going to know people who are affected by those things because that's just what the statistics are. That's just the math. Like, you know, so I think that's kind of what would happen from that. And ideally, all of this stuff would be covered. You know, if we had infinite resources and infinite labor or infinite technology that, like, you could just go press a button and boom, you got gender reassignment, so, like, it just does it. Like, wouldn't that be fucking awesome? That's why, like, as socialists, we're so into the idea of, like, automation, because stuff like that would be possible, you know, potentially down the line. Like, you know, people see the bad side of it. Well, that's the good side of it. That's what's, you know, possible. And, you know, just when I said where's the line, I was thinking of things like, what if, like, if a person's born with, like, 9 fingers, right? Do we cover getting a 10th finger attached because that makes them quote-unquote normal? You know, to, like, what we consider the standard human body? Like, what is that? You know, do we set what a standard is for, like, what people should have? Is it, like, what if somebody wants an 11th finger grafted on? Then we say, well, that's not standard, so we're not going to cover that. But if you want a 10th and you only had 9, we do cover that. You know, it becomes, like, a very... It's a tricky question, isn't it? Like, where do you decide, like, what we should be covering and whatever? And I just think, again, the best way to approach it is prioritizing. And it's not at all a value judgment about gender reassignment surgery. It's like I said, if the resources are there and we have people willing to work on it, like, by all means, do it. It's just, you got to prioritize, too. So, you know, I hope that I came across as fair in the way that I analyze this, but, yeah, that's Sophia.